Welcome to the Geeks, 31 Days of Horror for Halloween. This is Alil.
And this is Steve.
And tonight we're reviewing Child's Play 3 from 1991. For those of you who have not been with us before, we will play for you our rating system.
There's a rating system in place that we like to call 0 to 0. If whatever horror movie we're reviewing is terrifying only to the most infantile who get nightmares from PG-13 reboots, it gets a 0. If it's a gorgasm-inducing slaughter party that satiates your most devious and monstrous desires, it gets a hero.
Chucky returns again for revenge against Andy, the boy who defeated him twice now, and now a teenager. Even though this movie only came out a year later, he is now a teenager living in a military academy. So Child's Play 3 stars Justin Whalen this time as Andy, as an older Andy. Perry Reeves, Jeremy Silvers, Travis Fine, Brad Dourif, and a whole bunch of some character actors that you've probably seen before and things like that. And yeah, so there's a bunch of people in this movie, and probably had some decent TV careers for the most part. I don't think any of these have really been any big. Although the girl, she was in something.
Who was that?
The girl that he liked.
I'll tell you this. We unpacked this just before we started recording, and I wish we would have found it out on the show. But Justin Whalen, and everybody knows this guy. We've seen him in 100 things, it feels like. Everybody knows that he was in Dungeons and Dragons, The Flop in 2000 with Jeremy Irons. But what I didn't realize until just looking it up is that he was Jimmy Olsen in the Lois and Clark show with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. And that's exactly where the fuck I remembered him from without realizing that's where it is. I can see his face so clear in that goddamn show.
Yeah, but he hasn't done anything since. You're right. He was in Dungeons and Dragons, the 2000 movie.
I just said that.
And I'm just trying to think of what else. I know you just said that. I'm just trying to think
it feels like he was in all these other things, right? It feels like he was in that Sequest show. That wasn't him. That was Jonathan Brandis. It feels like he was in The Next Generation, but it wasn't him. It was Wesley. It was what's his fucking
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
But they all look the same, right? They all have the same kind of slim build and the little hair part.
Yeah, he looks just like Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. They're all the same. They're all interchangeable at that point.
They're all home improvement.
And the girl, the love interest here, was she had a small part in Old School with Vince Vaughn and Will Ferrell and all them. I think she was one. Yeah, I think either she was one of the wives or she was a friend of one of the wives. I'm trying to remember which one. I think was she Will Ferrell's wife? She might have been Will Ferrell's wife.
You can literally look it up. Your phone's right in front of you.
I know, but
it's you have the answers at your fingertips. Technology.
Okay, so she was in Old School, so I was right about that. I don't know who she was though. Ellen Pompeo was the main girl. Juliette Lewis, I don't know who. I don't remember. I didn't remember she was in Old School. Leah Remini.
Okay, we're not reviewing. We're not reviewing Old School.
I know. I think she was Will Ferrell's.
Leah Remini.
Yeah. I don't remember all these people in this movie. Okay, but back to Child's Play 3. So this is a time jump to him, Andy being now 16.
16.
Yeah. In military school. So the school. So I like the concept, right? Like he's in military school because he's a troubled boy. We got jerk, military guys.
Of course, it sets up new conflicts. It's more character development. I like this trend that it feels like we're about to start. Like, ooh, are we going to start doing Chucky in random places? Kind of like it's like Die Hard on a bus. It's like Speed. Like, are we going to Chucky on a cruise? Are we going to have fucking, that could be fucking cool. Chucky on a train. Where are we going to go? Now we have Chucky in a fucking
on a train. Don't throw
Chucky on a plane. Where can we put Chucky? Military school. interesting concept. Some of the great movies, you know, like remember that? I guess it wasn't a military school. Toy Soldiers. Was that a
Yes.
military school?
Yeah.
Good movie.
I love with Will Wheaton.
Toy Soldiers, great movie.
Right.
Even go through like Lord of the Flies. Like those kids were military school
Was
kids.
that Will Wheaton? Now I'm drawing a blank. I think it was Will Wheaton.
Oh, son of a bitch! Now I have to look it up. No, I know Sean Astin was in it.
Yeah, Sean Astin.
God damn it, a Lil.
I'm sorry.
And now I know there's people fucking are like, you fucking asshole. That's who it was. Sean Astin. Yeah, Will Wheaton.
All right.
Louis Gossett Jr.
He was the principal. Yeah.
Oh man,
I like that movie a lot, man. I like Toy Soldiers a lot when that came out.
Toy Soldiers was great.
All right, so back to this. All right.
But you know, unfortunately, as far as like I'm concerned with this one, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. A lot of the stuff that happened, and I get that we're already suspending disbelief, right? I get it, but at the same time, like it feels like even dumb movies should, like, it's egregious here. It's like, why'd you even go find Andy?
Well, it's
the point.
It's a crazy again tonal shift on this one, right? Because like the first one tried to be a straight up horror, right? The second one leaned into the ridiculousness of it and kind of had more fun with it. This one, again, it feels like everything around outside of Brad Dourif is taking it very seriously.
Oh, they're in a drama. They're in a coming of age prison drama outside of Chucky.
And it didn't work, right? Like Chucky fitting into this group of actors did not fit.
This could be, here's the problem with
this is
movie.
0. I'm giving it a 0.
I'm not going to give it a 0. I'm going to give it a low sidekick because this has one of the most evil things that I've ever seen anybody do in any movie, and I have to give it credit for that. So we'll get there.
Okay.
But it either could have worked as the Brad Dourif movie, the comedy killer doll movie that he was doing, or it could have worked as like a serious, dark, like what's even worse, like Chucky or these other fucking maniac kids on a power trip. Like it could have gotten dark. You could have had some shit going on with, I'm not saying like don't get in and diddling and all that shit, but there could have been some serious shit going on with like the other adults that were in this facility. Yeah. We could have really dug into this other kid, Tyler, that's in there. The new kid that Chucky attaches himself to in this movie. We could have really dug into his backstory. You know, he's a military kid. You know, his dad's a pilot. Like, what's going on? Why is he bullied and picked on? And like, he's a loner. And you know, like, if they wanted to go serious that way, then it could have been great too. But they picked and choose which scenes wanted to do each thing, and it just kind of fell in this weird way that didn't make a lot of sense for anything. And the fact is, Chucky gets brought back to life by his blood getting mixed into
spoilers.
The
plastic, but only one Chucky doll comes to life, even though that plastic is spread apart.
My big problem. And that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh man, are they going to make an army of Chuckies? Why don't I remember this? And I'm like, that would have been awesome.
Could you imagine an army of Chuckies attacking this military prep school and all these? See, now we're on.
They're
something.
All over the place strategically. Like he is everywhere, and they're able to. He knows because he's controlling them all, like Brad Dourif's spirit, soul. You know, so then they're picking them off, right? Like they're able to kill.
And the one that could be controlling it is like part of his original body back in like the factory somewhere or something. You know, like they could have done some pretty cool, and that's what they have to get back.
Right? You know, whatever, however you want to do it.
I thought it was really funny actually. The opening when they're like, we're bringing it back. This is the first one off the fucking line. And he immediately kills that guy.
Yeah.
Like later on that same day, like first one off the line, it's the killer doll. Or maybe that's it. Maybe they only made the one. I mean, it did start killing immediately, and we never really went back to the factory. So
I guess, and it seems like it's
we
been
never
only
did
going
go
on
back
for
to
a
the
couple
factory,
days, right? Yeah.
right? So
I
maybe
okay.
they.
I'm gonna give that a pass on that part.
But he's back to life, right? He hasn't told anybody his secret, and so his timer hasn't started. Or I don't know how that works exactly. Maybe
but he's still bleeding and stuff. Like
he could attach himself to anybody, and he immediately tries to find fucking Andy like right away, and it's like,
got a vendetta.
but why? I mean, I guess, but like every time this kid has fucking foiled you, he's foiled your plans twice, and he really fucked you up the last time. The first time a cop did all the damage. That second time, that little boy fucked you up, and he fucked you up bad. And now you're gonna come back to life, and the first thing you do is try to go get him. Like, I mean, I guess, but you better be on your A game. You can't if he's on a vendetta, then he needs to be bullet fucking zone. I'm gonna kill this kid, not dancing off and fucking off here and there and joking around and doing this and that.
I agree. I mean, the only interesting kill in this movie was the garbage truck guy.
The garbage truck guy was good. That was a good kill. I mean, he killed the fucking colonel with gave him a heart attack. I mean, that was the most believable.
A heart attack.
That was the most believable kill, honestly, because that old man saw that and was like, he could not process. He just fucking died.
Just dropped dead.
I'm like, fuck.
I mean,
and even Chucky was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, I was gonna kill you. But like, could you imagine that man? He's seen some shit in his life, right? He's probably been to war. He's done all this. He's managing this fucking school. He's an old man. He's walking out, and this fucking doll's right there. He's like, fucking huge knife. He's just like, oh my God. It just dies right there. I thought that was actually... That was actually cool. The most evil thing ever committed to this is they make these kids play war games, and Chucky replaces the paintballs in one of the gun in one team. So there's the blue team and the red team, and they each have like 20 guns and shit. And Chucky replaces the paint shit in one of the team's guns with live rounds. And these children are then sent off to play war. And they start shooting at each other. And children die. At least one.
Yeah. They murder one of the guys. Yep.
That is one of the most evil things I've ever seen. Like, and it's not played serious, but if you really think about that,
yeah,
if that is played serious, that is devastating.
Or Chucky throws a grenade, and the one kid jumps on the live grenade to save everyone else, and just like his body when you're on mute. His body when it like when the grenade goes off, just like it was crazy. Like I know
the one kid that everybody was giving bullshit and calling him a pussy the whole movie and all that. Yeah. You know, and this kid Tyler, I wanted to like be on this kid's side, but what if this kid's just nothing but trouble? This kid, he stole. That's how this whole shit started to begin with, because he stole the fucking good guy doll.
Well, but I mean,
he's kind of sneaking around. But like, then give me something, because he's also. Why
does he fucking want a good guy doll when he's got a goddamn Atari Lynx?
And
he's playing the Atari Lynx,
bro.
I was like, that's sweet as hell.
I was on that shit too. I was listening to all the sounds. I was like, it's fucking nice. He had that shit set up in his dorm, and he wants a fucking good guy doll. Look, and not only that, like this kid, but that's what I'm saying. They couldn't understand the character with this kid, right? Like, I wanted to be on his side, but I didn't know who he was, because, like, he runs into the fucking cop, you know, for the fair or whatever. And what a piece of shit this guy is. Like, oh, he's like, Charles is trying to kill me. He's like, oh, I'm sure it's a misunderstanding. I'm sure he didn't mean. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? This child is Randy. Anyway, but like, he's answering questions like, yes, sir, no, sir. Like, but at the same time, he's a little fucking lying ass thief. Yeah. that is up to no good constantly and sneaking around and causing mischief. And so, like, I just never know. And then just Andy gets roped in, and this chick gets roped in, and the finale was decent. You know, I liked how they switched it up and changed the location. I thought it was cool. Like, it naturally got there. Like, At one point, like we were in a fucking field where they were shooting guns at each other, and suddenly he's dangling off the fucking the pipes of a roller coaster track, and it was a natural progression of there. And it's wild to think like, oh, we went from here to here in so much time. So that's a credit to the movie.
Even that haunted house ride thing, I kind of like. I like that. I was like, you know what, that's kind of cool. Like,
not bad.
Yeah.
Right. And a great villain kill. Again, you know, I judge a lot of these movies by the kills for the villains and the different creative ways they can do it. You know, in the first one, they set him on fire and shot him. Not terribly creative. In the second one, they went all fucking out. And in the third one, he gets constantly fucked up. That big ass Grim Reaper thing takes half his fucking face off, and he's walking around with that for a while. That looks really cool. And then the fall to the fan, you know, that was glorious. Blood everywhere, shit flying out.
Yeah.
Really good. So those are the reasons it pulls it out of a 0. But for the most part, there's not a lot of kills. It's kind of boring. They don't do enough.
0. It's boring, Steve. Like, it's real. Outside of like a couple of scenes, it's a boring movie, and they waste a good-looking Chucky.
It's a good-looking. It's a great premise too, like a great location. Like they really were onto something. They just didn't quite workshop it enough.
No,
but they were so close. But no, I'm not going to give it a 0 because, again, it's still. It's weird how it picks up directly after the movie, yet
it's 8
doesn't. It's 8 years later because like they're moving his dead carcass, right? And it drags over and drips blood into the thing. And then that makes
the new blood not dried up.
So did that plastic just sit there for 8 years, or is the blood sitting there for 8 years, or where did the 8 years go?
Made no sense. For a movie, for a premise that I'm supposed to give a lot of gimmies to because I get it. It completely didn't make any sense.
It came out a year later. Unless they were filming this at the same time as the second one, which I didn't look at the production schedule to see if they were. But unless they were, they literally could have just had Andy go from movie 2, walk right on the set for movie 3, and just have it take place at the police station.
Why not?
Chucky infiltrates the fucking police station somehow.
I mean, but they had to rebuild Chucky. You know, I don't know. I just didn't like it, Steve. That's the thing. I just didn't like. You know what?
They could have explained it. You know how they could have explained it? He did the fucking curse in the good guy factory, and
his body transferred to another body.
The soul went to another good guy doll.
Yep. Here's the thing, Steve. I'm going to tell you this movie. When I first saw it, I stopped with the franchise. I did not watch.
Well, the franchise stopped. They didn't come out with another fucking Chucky movie for a decade after this.
Was it a decade? But I didn't watch those movies. I never saw Bride of Chucky. Still haven't.
You've never seen Bride of Chucky? It's not great. Bride and Seed are...
Or Seed. I haven't seen that one either. Yeah, I haven't seen Bride or Seed.
Oh, we got to do those this year then.
I know. That's what I wanted to do. I have not seen those movies.
They are a rapid tonal shift.
I heard they're very high comedy and
they're very campy. Bride of Chucky came out in 1998, so 7-year hiatus after this. So they flashed forward 8 years in movie time and then took an actual 8-year break in real time.
And in all honesty, that's one of the reasons. Like I remember seeing this one and I'm like, I'm good. And then I remember seeing in theaters like, oh, Bride of Chucky's coming out. I'm like, yeah, no. I watched Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Halloween H2O is coming out. Like those were the movies. I was like, you know what? I'd rather watch those.
Yeah, but now we're old and we have to fill content. So we're gonna watch Bride of Chucky and Cult, and because we've reviewed Cult, we reviewed Curse, reviewed. Did we review the new Child's Play?
We did.
We did. I know we did the original years ago. Now we've done 2 and 3.
Yep.
So we just have Bride and Seed.
Yep.
All right.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought of Child's Play 3.
Ranked so far.
Out of all of them, or just these 2?
We can do all of them that we've seen so far.
The ones I've seen. I mean, here's my problem. I don't remember Curse.
I
or Cult.
remember not liking Curse and liking Cult. That's
Which
what I
one was
remember.
Cult?
Cult was the
at
one where
hospital?
like Andy had fucking Chucky's head in a fucking cupboard.
Yeah. Okay. And Curse was in the house.
Yeah.
2, 1. I can forget about the rest.
I think I'm like right there. I'm like 2-1. I hated that new one.
The
Mark
new
Hamill
one was the new one is almost on par with 3. I would say I would rather watch 3.
I'd rather watch 3 than the new
I
one.
prefer the practicals and how Chucky looked than the Mark Hamill.
I think it goes 2, 1, Cult, 3, Curse, then the new one.
Okay, I'll go 2-1 Cult. I'll go 2-1 Cult Curse, just because it's been so long, and then 3 and the new one. So that's what I'm. So
well, the new one's at the bottom. The new one's just
the new one. Just the worst.
Anyways, sorry. So we'll see where Bride and Curse jump into those rankings and see if they're at the bottom or if because I'll tell you this. I don't remember those movies 100%, but I do know that they pick a tone, and both of those movies stay there.
And that's okay. I prefer if you're gonna give me a tone,
and it's not a tone we've gotten yet. So.
All right, I can't wait to check it out. So, all right, well, thank you for joining us. This is Will,
and this is Steve. And until tomorrow night, everybody, keep it creepy.
So for those of you who have not been with